Welcome back to another podcast today on Rangers Talk on the Spot. I'm joined by David and Dean as per usual, and we've got another blast from the past. But before I get started, do not forget, to follow us on Facebook. It's at Rangers Talk on the Spot, and Twitter at Jers Chat. Now, today we are going to be talking about Flesher's HAUGH, which is Rangers' first ever ground, which was in 1872. It was in Glasgow, and it was actually founded by Rangers' founding fathers from a book about a rugby club in England. But we're going to get Dean to give us a bit more information about the club and about the first ground. How are you, Dean? You alright today?
Yep, so you're right in saying, Rangers were named after a rugby club in England. They'd read about it in a book, so of course, many people know Flesher's HAUGH was our first ground.
Yeah.
So we played there for 3 years up until 1875.
1875.
Yeah, so that's where Rangers started off, you could say. Our first game was versus Calendar, who were one of the first 16 teams in the first Scottish Cup, but were only short-lived. They were from 1872 to 1874. In this game, quite interestingly, Rangers players played in their civvies, so that was...
What does civvies mean?
Comes from the song.
What does civvies mean for those non-Rangers fans out there? Give them a bit of a...
Civilian uniform.
Civilian uniform,
Go
right.
back to military. So
Military,
okay. That's where the lyrics from For What's Our Dream had no kit, not even a ball, not.
So that's...
that game against Calendar was a nothing each draw, and I think one of our first games was against Clyde, but we were beat 11-0. 11-0.
I think it's very important that we mention here our game against Calendar was the first ever known game in our history ever.
Known game, so it could have been games before that, you're saying?
Could have been, but from historians' point of view, this is the first ever game known to man.
Okay.
Yeah, so after successful results and a lot of people turning up to the games, Rangers challenged Queen's Park, who were
Is that Queen Park Rangers?
No.
Queen's Park.
Scottish. No, challenged Queen's Park, who were a massive team at the time. They were Scotland's premier club. But
where are they now? Anybody know where Queen's Park is now?
third division, I'm sure.
Still playing in the third division.
But they declined to play the game against us because they said we didn't have a ground of our own. So Rangers decided it was time to have a move away, grown attendances, and our ground wasn't recognised, to move west of the city into familiar territory, where we started playing at BURNBANK.
BURNBANK, very good. Well, David...
See, just a wee point on this Calendar game.
Yeah, go ahead.
How can you draw 0-0 in your first ever game?
How could you draw 0-0
How
nowadays?
can a professional team draw 0-0? That's crazy.
How can teams nowadays draw 0-0?
That's just very true.
It happens.
This Calendar team only lasted 2 years.
Yeah, that's it.
And I think they only played 3 games in their history. They played Rangers and then they played Alexandra Athletic. That's all the information we've got in that Calendar team. But moving on,
BURNBANK.
to the BURNBANK Stadium from 1875 to 1876. This was situated just off Great Western Road.
So that's just what West
I think
End.
that's past Glasgow University, is it?
I'm sure it's the west end of the city.
Google Maps, guys.
Hillhead area, I'm pretty sure.
It's situated on the south side of Great Western Road at Barrington Drive. It was leased to us by the Glasgow Ackies, who were formed in 1866. I don't really know much about the Glasgow Ackies.
Never heard of them before.
Heard of them, boys?
No.
No.
I just know there was a chapel, wasn't there, across the road from the old ground?
Yeah. Well, actually, it says they then became the Glasgow Hawks in 1997.
That's 21 years ago as well.
Yeah.
That's quite recently.
So our first match at BURNBANK was on the 11th of September 1875, when we entertained our old foes, Vale of Leaving again. But I'm sure we mentioned last week in the Kinnan Park podcast
something about that. I'm
played
pretty
Vale
sure.
of Leaving.
Yeah,
Is this two different games? I'm confused.
It might be
It
two different
will
games,
be.
yeah.
Will be because Kinnan Park came after BURNBANK, which we're
Do
talking
we remember
about.
what the score was? I mentioned last week.
No, when you go back and
No,
look.
well, this game was 1 each. If you take a wee look at the screen, we've actually got the stadium plan up. It's a bit... Can't really read it, guys.
It's an old blueprint kind of thing.
You can see the Rangers ground, and then we've got a chapel, unfortunately, across from it. I wonder what happened to
Very,
that.
very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But guys, just I want to say, if you guys know any information about either ground that we've mentioned today, please do leave a comment, so you can let us know and inform us a bit more about our history, you know, because it's always important to remember where we
Just
where we came
another
from.
note on the BURNBANK Stadium. Moses McNeil became our first ever player captain to be capped by Scotland when he played against Wales at Hamilton Crescent in 1876.
Whereabouts is
Where
that?
is this Hamilton Crescent?
Yeah, I
It
was
keeps
gonna
getting
ask.
brought
Hamilton
up.
Crescent Park, I'm not sure, but I know the first international match took place at
Yeah.
West Scotland Cricket Ground. I'm sure that. I know Hamilton's obviously not in Glasgow, but
Let's just put the pictures up on the screen, guys. There's BURNBANK ground. BURNBANK, sorry.
in 1870,
1870. Look at this.
Surrounding Rangers play. Just
Gosh.
looks like a
Imagine playing on that these days.
muddy
Oh, wow.
field, dredged field.
The conditions, but
Yeah.
but it just says here. I got some information actually about Hamilton Crescent. It was actually a cricket ground located in Partick area, Glasgow.
I think that's West Scotland Cricket Ground.
Yeah,
I
so
believe.
it's the home of west of Scotland cricket, and
There you
it's
go. That's where the first ever international match was played between Scotland and England ever
wow,
in the world.
that is absolutely fantastic bit of history
In world
for you.
football.
But David, if you got any more to comment, or Dean, about more information or anything that we want to tell the viewers, or or any more information?
So yeah, after BURNBANK, we
Right.
got bigger, and then we decided
grew as
to
a
move.
club.
We moved to Kinnan Park, as we featured last week. And actually, after Kinnan Park, we moved to the first Ibrox.
The first time
We'll mention that in next week's podcast.
I
so
do
stay tuned
feel
for
that
that.
back in 1872, the rise of Glasgow really probably helped Rangers become discovered.
Well,
maybe.
Glasgow's becoming a lot more modernised. Obviously,
Yeah.
Glasgow at the time was a big.
Oh, it was
Shit.
a booming city with a ship.
It was
yeah.
a
Yeah.
booming city, and I think
exporting in.
Rangers was a name
Yeah.
that was getting around a
As I
lot.
said, Glasgow was the second city of the British Empire, so
Yeah.
that's when Glasgow's moving into a more modern age at the time.
Mm. Well, thank you very much for listening, viewers, and we're going to be back next week with another podcast, maybe some transfer news, or maybe another blast from the past on a Thursday.
We're thinking of doing a other series, player profiles. We'll be featuring Rangers legends and
Aye.
get a bit more insight into players.
Yeah,
Just leave a wee comment, guys, and let us know.
let us know what you want us to cover, or if you've got any more information about these two grounds we've covered today.
Yeah, and we'll link the pictures up on the screen.
Yeah, well, we'll add pictures for everybody to see and everybody to have a look at. But once again, if you're not following us on Facebook, it's Rangers Talk on the Spot, and